We're live. Good Sunday morning. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our last Sunday Safe Spaces of 2023. I'm April Jackson, Wesley Hamilton. Can you believe it was the last one?
No, not really. The last one for the year,
For the year, for 2023.
So absolutely. It's been a great year, but I'm so ready for this new one, because it always allows room for growth.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet, but the next chapter creates more um, evolution within what we're doing. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm thinking, well, first, guests, welcome if you're here. We are so thankful and grateful that you're spending some time with us on a Sunday morning. If you're listening to this at a different time, we are still super grateful that you've revisited or tuned in, and just thank you for listening to us pontificate on so many things. And just saying that this is our last one for 2023 and thinking of we're ready to move on to the new year makes me think, Wes, like the past few years have just been so traumatic and hard and challenging for the world, and for people and societies and us individually. But we came together based on that. Like we started in the pandemic, and I think that's a testament to our own resiliency, right?
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy.
Isn't that?
And just watching the world evolve, there, like from one issue to another. Um, every community continually needs healing, and we're having these transparent conversations that is providing that through the thick and thin,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
through the thick and thin. Oh
Right.
man,
Right. And there have been moments of joy for sure. Um, but I think it's a testament to when times get really hard is when you have this opportunity to get into your practices, to get into what keeps you grounded, to have community, to be able to talk and just be with other people who are like-minded and who are not like-minded, right? Because that like iron sharpens iron. Like you learn something more when you're challenged with a diverse perspective.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, friends, you'll notice that you have the two of us here, and you have our interpreter who we love, Amy, and no guests today. We've been periodically just dropping in because it's like we've heard your call. You want April Wesley time.
We're here for it. Finding ourselves just reflecting over the year, both personal as well as what we've done through safe spaces. What we're excited to, potentially bring to you guys for 2024. And then just, yeah, celebrating everybody that has been on safe spaces throughout the years as well as through this year. Because the conversations only get better, but they've all been great. And so, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's
So
just a good
speaking of
time, right?
right, so I pulled up. I'm gonna put on my glasses.
Up, put the glasses on. She's serious when the glasses come on.
Focus. um, so this year, um, we started on January 15th, which is King's birthday. And we've had ourselves on more than usual this year because we found that we wanted to really dive and give time into some topics on Black history, love, and women's history. And then we had these are the guests we've had. Marcus Schaffner with the outdoor inclusion. That was dope.
Shout out to Marcus.
Hey, Marcus. Cecilia Ware, Nurturing Through Trauma. I kind of feel like that might have been one of our favorite
It
ones.
was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed that one. We talked about Juneteenth and Father's Day with us. We had a check in Libby. We had Libby on like
Oh,
officially.
and that was fire. Fire there. Under, absolutely. That's my girl.
Yes, the benefits of an inclusive workspace. That was good because Libby is about that life. Like she's researched, like she works hard in corporate, university, all that. And it was so wonderful to have her share her experiences.
Libby.
We had our summer recap, and this has been my favorite. I was reflecting on what's been my favorite. The spinal cord injury awareness that we talk about in September. I think we've been like the past 2 Septembers, we're diligent about it. The first September we touched on it, but that's one of my favorite topics because I learned so much like each and every time.
Absolutely. I think those are always good. Yeah, the awareness around it, and to understand that every person in a wheelchair is different. And
Mhm.
of course, you have all the first of all, audience, tap into every month that does raise awareness about specific disabilities so you can become more aware.
Right.
Because rather it's a month, a week, a day, there's all type of representation to allow space to create awareness. And so in September, Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month for me is just like my it's like my platform, as well as other individuals like myself, to not only share maybe how we acquired our injury, because that is a very insightful thing for people to understand, because it can happen to anyone at any time.
Right.
But also, what are the complications and obstacles that someone with a spinal cord injury faces?
Right.
So no, I think that, of course, a little bit of selfishness that have a spinal cord injury. So I love that talk that month as well, but as well as Black History Month. But who knows,
Right.
right?
We like all our months, but that's
Like,
one of my highlights. I learned so much.
so
Um,
absolutely.
we had Rebecca Diaz on, which that was pretty great. I am always in awe of her, and we talked about diversity within diversity, and we touched on that during Latin American Hispanic Heritage Month. Um,
Rebecca had some fire on her too. Okay.
right,
All right. Shout out to Rebecca.
right, like that knowledge
That
comes
conversation
deep.
was really well put together. Really grateful for that insight, even for myself.
And it's so great to talk to someone who's an artist. She's an opera singer. She works in opera. She does consulting on diversity and inclusion in the art spaces specifically. Like that was amazing. And then we had our open up board interim board president and one of our first speakers come back, Richard Butler. We talked
Mr.
about that.
Butler.
That was good.
Mr.
That was
Butler, talking really good. That was last month, guys. So if y'all haven't really listened to those this year, please tap into them. Um, we've just been having some phenomenal conversations. And, we're looking in 2024 as a way to be able to push them out on other platforms and allow you
Mhm.
guys to be able to listen to them a lot differently, but more just freely.
That's a good way to put it. Like at your own time when you want to, which topic you want to talk about. Like,
Absolutely. And since this is episode 36, you have some amazing things that you can kind of go through and learn and understand. And there's book reflections at the end of them all, and learning just more about the individuals. There's just a lot when we're just reflecting on safe spaces. Like we do pretty much provide a lot of value within these hours of time. And of course, my one of my favorite things that we do too is have Amy on. In reality, very grateful for the time that she puts aside. But you don't see a lot of conversations that literally offer someone to interpret, for just a conversation, right? Like, and if
right.
we have multiple individuals on a talk, or it never stops, and I just want to share my gratitude for that, because we try our best to create this level of inclusivity
Yeah.
within our conversations. And we set the tone, right? Like we
Yeah.
are setting the tone, April. Like,
Right. Right.
so,
And we're learning too, right? The intention behind all of this was to provide an opportunity. When we came in, it's like during, quote, George Floyd days, right? And, we're like, you know what? When you look at us, the first thing people see is that we're Black. There's a Black man, there's a Black woman, and there's so much in the society that is so oppressive and targets our nerves, literally. Like our nervous systems are shot. And so we wanted to provide a space where we can just like be candid about how we feel and what issues that we are engaged in and that come to us on a daily basis, which isn't like publicly put out there. It's not on media. It's now on social media because we have social media. But the reflection of stories like ours are not often just shared. And then stories of others being able to share is really, really important to us. And so that's why we started Safe Spaces, and to support groundedness, centering, to support mental health, and to recognize like this is for all of us. And when we center things on our community of those who have disabilities, it's because we all have some kind of disability one way or the other. There's a spectrum and there's a range. And that's why I'm glad you said like tap in each month. In the summer, we, celebrate Disability Awareness Month. And if you notice, Wes and I kind of chuckle, like we love Libby. But when I tell you Libby goes hard in the paint, one of our favorite memories is that summer here in Pittsburgh where a monsoon, and I'm not exaggerating, right?
if anything traumatizes me these days is rain.
Oh my
Just
God.
gonna
And
be
we had
honest. And I was definitely traumatized.
And Libby sat on that stage and she was giving her speech. The wind was blowing and tents were flying. I'm not exaggerating, everybody.
Like, brace yourself. Like, just brace yourself. Like, I don't know what else we could do.
And we spoke. She spoke. She spoke. So, yeah, like make yourself aware and also understand your own self. I've noticed like so many of us judge ourselves and condemn ourselves and are hard on ourselves for a mistake we have made or physically how we're feeling or something that happened to us. And, we're human beings and life happens. And so we want us all to be in a healthy mental state. And that's why we share here. We share affirmations, we share what we're grateful for, we share the challenges so we know we're not alone. And we come to these spaces. So you can check out Open Up's YouTube page because all of our live streams are on there. And then we, as Wes said, we are going to convert some of these into podcasts. That's a project for Wes and Marissa and myself, but we want to make this information available.
Absolutely.
And Wes, are you ready to share
What
you have published? Your affirmation?
No, I just
Wes has been working hard, you all.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely I've been working on a gratitude journal.
Which you manifested a while ago.
I did manifest it. I did, and it was because I journal, and what I found is a lot of journals that I've acquired, they have a template. It allows you to understand what journaling is, affirmations, gratitude, etc. But when the ones that you do look at and they provide like quotes and things that motivate you outside of just the understanding of the process, none of them really has like Black representation. Like sometimes I want to see what Oprah said or Steve Harvey. Like, I don't want to just be on social media where I can see these things. But I wanted to be able to see it every day. I want to see a quote from someone that maybe can represent me, but I also want something that speaks to me.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, so my journal is in the still the drafting stages, but I do have like a copy. It's called Set the Tone, a daily journal for cultivating gratitude. My other reason behind it was because a lot of people find my story very inspiring. And, everyone's like, where's a book at? And it's like, for me, there's pieces of my story that I would love for any and everybody to be able to consume and grab something from it. Of course, I would love to share the whole journey in a book in the future, but uh, I also wanted to be able to share a piece of my story within something that I could actually give to others. So you do get like a nice piece of, a background of who I am. So I could share like the first page. I want to share like so when you open it up, it says, "Unleash the magic within your soul through the ink of your pen. Let gratitude awaken the symphony of life, transforming every note into a masterpiece of joy."
I love that.
The goal is to truly understand what daily gratitude can do to enhance your overall quality of life.
Yeah.
And so then you go through and you got just normal pages that, um, in the morning, just share what you're grateful for. I have a piece where I say, speak life into yourself with an affirmation. Um, what do you want to accomplish for the day? And then in the evening, you would come back and reflect. But again, there's quotes from Viola Davis, Barack
Mhm.
Obama,
Yeah.
Cicely Tyson,
Yes, I've read all those books too. I've read all three of them.
like Tabitha Brown. Like, I
Nice.
don't know, like it was important for me to see today some of our today heroes that are creating new history, and becoming new figures of history, that we can find more relatable. And again, then I got a Nipsey Hussle quote in here,
Love
but
me some Lucy.
it's for me, I to read that and say, okay, right, like, and now I'm just speaking, but I understand that, I relate to that. So yeah, it's called Set the Tone. I definitely have it out probably by New Year's.
Okay.
And yeah, and that'll be something that, I hope that we can be able to kind of utilize even through these conversations, and
Yeah.
be able to share this with our audience. So yeah, yeah.
We're excited. We've already like been in meetings for like we're gonna get a whole bunch of them. We did a book giveaway. I don't know if it was last year or the year before with Octavia Rahim.
Hmm. We did.
So like, we're excited to like get this book into you all's hands. And I pulled up a little bit, and I know stuff on the top of my head, but when we talk about gratitude, it says that it reduces depression. In a review of 70 studies that included responses from more than 26,000 people, found that an association between higher levels of gratitude found an association between higher levels of gratitude and lower levels of depression. And so we're talking like it lessens anxiety, it relieves stress. Like these are the practical things you can do. And having a prompt can help. Like your book provides prompts, right?
Absolutely. And when you were saying that, I definitely have on here kind of just sharing, why practice gratitude, and then why should you make it a daily practice. And I think some of my pointers was that definitely that it boosts happiness, it strengthens relationships, it improves physical health, cultivates resilience, and encourages personal growth. And I add different areas of what that means, as well as with affirmations. I do kind of provide the value of affirmations,
Mm-hmm.
and provide some examples. So uh, I really try to think of a way that, one, it educates, but it allows you to now freely just go in here and understand that you don't have to be like this big guru to journal and practice gratitude, or even go to the full extent of your affirmations. It can go as, I am enough, I am beautiful, I am free, I am amazing. Like, it can be short and sweet before it's long and centered. And, it's just, you start somewhere. So my
Right.
goal is to get you started,
Okay.
and then see where you take off from there. Right. Like, I'm leading you to the water right now.
I like that. I like that. That's so good too that like you specify that. Like the intention of this book was to help you get started, to get familiar with it. And it's not the end all. You said this is kind of at a beginning. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I think I have about a little bit over 100 some pages. So my goal is like trying to create something that would, I break down, like, it takes around like 21 days to create a habit. And, so I'm giving you 3 months to create one.
There you go.
It's like, that's my goal. It's like, I'm giving you enough time to create this routine. And then now you can go and, you can just get a pen and pad. You can prompt and practice gratitude mentally down. If you don't want to write
Mhm.
it down, you're spending 10 minutes when you wake up just to speak gratitude into life, right? Like, it's just, that's the whole goal, is to free yourself by being grateful for the things that already exist within your life, you
Mhm.
know. So
That's
uh, and the good thing about this is that it's the holidays, right? So
Mhm.
the ability to even have this conversation before the holiday, like, whatever holiday you are celebrating at this time, all of it is still shaped around gratitude. It's not shaped around what you're expecting.
Right.
It's the gratitude of just being surrounded by love,
Mm.
like, and surrounded by those that are still here, and then being able to praise those that aren't. um
Mm.
and, so I just, again, and that doesn't have a price to it. It's just
Mm.
a feeling, it's an emotion.
Right.
But it makes you go into the new year actually understanding and being more grateful for the life that you have, and the things that you have, and the people that you have, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, like, it just leads in the right direction.
Yeah, that's powerful. Made me so reflective because we have lost people, right? We've lost loved ones, um, and the holiday season can be just so hard. Like you said, whatever the holiday is, but there's like the pressure to gift. There's the pressure to be social. There's the pressure to, I mean, you're constantly inundated with images of what it should look like. And it can be a very hard time for many of us, and it's definitely capitalistic. And so if you don't have the money and if you're working, like there's so many layers to it.
It is.
Um, but the gratitude, like it resets your brain, your neural pathways, so you can revisit how you feel. And all of this is to say too, once you agree with me, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna feel great all the time. That's not the point. That
No,
is not the point.
it's like, man, yesterday was hard, but you know what? I'm here. I got another opportunity. I'm not even feeling perfect this morning. I woke up, like, it's just these things. Like, you're gonna have your issues.
Right.
You're gonna have your problems. Um, but the surroundings, the things that you can find, gratitude can really open the door to opportunities. It opens the door to awareness, and when you have awareness, you have a clear mind.
Right.
And so it just leads, right? Like, it's like the small seed, and then everything else starts to water it. And so I think gratitude is just a starting point. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, like you said, April, like I definitely know every day there's pressure. There's
Mhm.
pressure in life. Um, it just doesn't have to take away your gratitude for life. Like sometimes even like just being grateful that you get to experience pressure sometimes. Like I mean, seriously, like until you feel it, you don't know how to react to it. You don't know how to
Yeah.
handle
You
it.
don't know what you're made of sometimes until you like go through the experience and you're like, you know what, I handled that. I got this. Okay. Stronger than I thought I was. Or
Seriously, you just yeah. So, but again, holidays, I understand everyone, have their different views about them. But what I do know is you off work. Uh
that's
for
a
the
plus
most
for everybody. Like,
for the
please,
most part,
even for a few days.
like I mean, I listen, I'm over here by a business park a little bit, and I've been seeing empty parking lots for a few,
Yeah,
like
awesome.
people taking early breaks. They getting the 10 days out. So
Wow.
um, that's the thing to be grateful for, or even just being able to be around the kids, being around the family, or just being around and being okay with being with yourself,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes that's the only time you get to just be alone. It's like, oh, no one's gonna call, no one's really got to text me, no one's asking me for anything for a
I'm
couple
gonna
of days.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm grateful for. It's funny. It's funny. Hey, and nope. Listen, don't judge me at this moment.
No judgments.
All right, because I'm gonna tell you, in the last month, I've had to make some transitions in this new home of mine, April. So I ended up getting a TV
Oh, that's huge.
in the room, right? So my pastime lately been sitting down playing Call of Duty.
No judgments, Wes, no judgments.
and but after yeah, I have to understand it's been like 2 years since I even had a TV in the home, and it's not even in my front room. So I definitely want to still be surrounded by the things that help me grow and
Yeah.
give me peace and solitude. But I had to find things that kind of took my mind off of constantly overly being on overload. Like my goal going into the new year's is giving myself grace to just be human
Mm.
and not always having to be like, every moment I'm motivating or every moment I'm trying to like plant a seed. Like, no, like let's go play this Madden real quick, right? Like,
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm a man that loves to do things. But sometimes I think for me, especially in my work, you think that time is valuable, right? So
Mhm,
you don't know how
mhm.
much time you have, so you're trying to pour it all into creating legacies and successes and things like that. But sometimes you can forget to just be you and human. And
Mhm.
what does that look like? Maybe it's going out with family and leaving the phones at home. Uh,
Mm.
like it's playing board games. I'm killing with spades over here with the kids. I'm telling you, they're not liking it, but it's been a joy for me to do the other things that I think work, right? So this is
Yeah.
for people that are out there working. Um, that we forget to do. Like, for example, just sharing some ideas, but my goal for, the holiday this year is the families that I want to do for instead of
Mhm.
trying to do something individual, do something that brings them back together. So maybe
Mm.
it is a board game setup with some fun activity around it. Maybe
Yeah.
but it's like, how many of us get to be around our family and do the things when we're all in the same house. Most of us, everybody with the door
In
shut,
the different rooms,
home,
right.
right? And so when we forget how valuable that is. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. Because my goal too for 2024 is to kind of do less and do more within what I'm doing with the less,
yep,
right? Like 2023 was like hustling, doing a lot of things everywhere. And there are benefits to it, but it depletes your spirit and your soul and your body physically. And so I am definitely thinking like, okay, be very intentional about what I say yes to what I say no to.
Mhm.
And I agree, it's okay. Like yesterday, I was like, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. Like I had a list and I had my pajamas on all day. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. I just did laundry all day and I sat in front and I binged watched. And I was feeling a little guilty about it, but not, and I think centering things around community is really important. I'm impressed you got a TV. I mean, I'm not impressed like, ooh, I'm glad you got a TV. Wes and I are kind of similar. We have one TV in this entire house. One TV downstairs, no TVs in the bedrooms. One of my boys has a TV in his bedroom, but it doesn't even work anymore. It was from college and he's gone. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I honestly, it was just that I just found myself just every day it was just work. And of course, I got multiple platforms, a couple businesses, so it's always trying to. But at the same time, it was when am I giving myself just grace, and just to be able to um, yeah, like it was just one of those. And of course, I was big head. I'm like, yeah, let me just go into Best Buy. And it was like the best time, right? Because it's the holidays. So I'm not
Right.
like overly spending. But
I know
I
your
have,
daughter is like, whoa.
yeah, times are changing, right? Like, but I think, you go into this hustle mode. And I think 2024, just like you, April, it's just, it's just important to do the things that create time to relax, and I think that's important. I think that, I've been from LA to KC, like I had a year, right, from traveling different countries, and
Yes.
it's been a lot. And um not saying I'm not going to do that next year, but I'm just like you, April. I'm just being very conscious of what I say yes to, what allows stability and keeps me afloat,
Right.
but not overdoing it just to please something, a
Yeah.
system or something, right? Like I just can't. I have to do it for myself, right? So again, like it creates conversations and stuff. Like I feel like bonding like with my siblings is back. I'm like, hey, I got a game, we can go online. Like, it's just the little things that you forget that maybe some people align with you through smaller things, right? Like
Right.
maybe
Right.
they can't come and talk to you about business, but
Right. Yeah, those small little things, a game,
yeah,
music, catching a movie.
like
Um,
all of that, right? So
that makes me think of us. So like if you all haven't heard our origin story, Wes and I met well a while ago and it was all virtual. And when he moved to LA and back, whatever, that's home. So we were able to see each other. And it's been like 2 years in a row. Um,
absolutely.
but that was fun quality time. Like I just came to be with my family. Wes is part of the family. Like he came. And when we did the pottery, like we just did a
Heck
little
yeah, that's
something.
the pottery was epic, but I end up going back and doing it again because it was one of those things that again you there's so much joy in doing other than the norm.
Yeah, like we went swimming. I'm gonna turn on my light. And your daughter, like, she's like one of the nieces now, like, and it wasn't a big to do. It's like, let's just go swimming. Let's just grab a little bite to eat. And you got to have oysters for the first time.
Yeah, I've had oysters for the first time. Don't know if it might be the last, but it was
Wesley, don't have us coming to Kansas City. And that's one of my plans. I plan to get out there. It's
yeah.
healthy. It's healthy for you. But yeah, those experiences I'm enjoying more, like being able to be with family and traveling a bit, but not making it like you got to travel, you got to go here, there, here, there, here, there. Just go enjoy it, have an experience.
Listen, you got a small town down the road that you haven't even got familiar with yet. There's history all around us. You don't have to go all out because you see some nice reel on Instagram.
Right. Which was like, it was a curated reel. Like you get to the place, you're like, there's seaweed all over this beach. And
They found the
looks
perfect
not
spot.
good.
Definitely. If you see my reels, they weren't curated. They were definitely coming from a will experience and
Right,
perspective, right? But
right. And they look like
um, no, but seriously, like being able to just like I'm in KC, so St. Louis is right down the road, and St. Louis has a lot of history that no matter how many times I go, I continue to learn more.
mm,
And so just sharing that as an example, and again, there's museums, there's just so much that you can just be a part of, and you don't have to go outside your community. Go have a picnic if the sun is shining, and go to the movie theater if it's not, right. Like, how many times do we do what we used to when we didn't have the phone?
yeah,
Like, that's when we didn't have the phone. It's
that's true.
you gotta just give it as on the phone. Like, it don't matter which one it is. Yeah.
You've had many of them, and it's funny because before we got on, I went to get my tea, and then I was like, "I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone." And I was like, "You know what? I don't need to be on the phone for this hour. Like, I'm engaged with you, and it'll be okay." So I'm glad you said that because that kind of sits with me with an action I just took.
It's so it's my phone. And when we got on the call, I'm like, oh, I gotta find my phone. I gotta find, same like you. I grab it and it's dead. And I say, you know what?
Supposed to be meant to be.
That's what it is, right? Like
Mhm.
today, just every again, like I tried to sign in, it booted me off. It was all these different things. And I said, I'm just in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just in the moment. And um, yeah, like, so again, I hope everybody is kind of like listening and really like just soaking up some of these gems today. And then I advise, just depending on where you are and what you do, spend today listening to some good music. Find a soul
Mhm.
food Christmas station. You can't never go wrong with them.
I have to drop one. I'm gonna drop one in the
Look, see, you already got it. Look.
yeah, I'm like, I already got some songs. And also like reading a good book. Like you mentioned you had quotes. And if you're new here, we always share like what we're reading and what we're doing, and we want to encourage you to do the same. And so you said Obama's book, any of his books I think are good. Viola Davis's autobiography. Mm,
Absolutely.
so good. And they're good to listen to as well. So if you want to listen to them, you can. And Cicely Tyson's autobiography.
Hmm. All of them, all of them. I feel like any autobiography, that's, I mean, most of them, majority of them,
You're gonna
all
learn something.
you do learn something through it all. You're gonna learn something through storytelling, and when someone's vulnerable enough to share their story,
Yeah. That's
just got
the key when you're vulnerable enough to share your story.
then that it gives you keys to be able to unlock the doors to be able to share your own.
Can I share with you? So in talking about like you bought a TV, so I've been reading all these books, I have all these books around, and that's something we have in common. And then we've taken periods of not reading books. Lately, I don't want to I don't want to read anything heavy. We talk about like a lot of our experiences when we come from, our communities, they're heavy because we've all been burdened with so much. But I don't want to read all that. So I've been reading very light books that are very titillating. Titillating.
All right, Ti.
Kinda soap opera-ish, but they've been so good. And there've been layers of, depth within the book, but it's been actually kind of fun and I've been listening to them on Audible. So I like do the dishes, I've been driving more and I don't really like to drive, but I'm like, oh, if I drive and there's traffic, I can listen to more of my audiobook. So
I'm telling you, that was That's normally my goal.
Mhm.
Or I do it in the shower. So I just play it when I get in the
That's a
shower.
friend of mine, she said that. She will put a book on or something in the shower.
It's relaxing in a sense, somebody talking to you while you just in the shower. But
Right, right, and you don't have to think, like, you're listening, you're engaged in that.
I've been listening to Young Jeezy's book.
Oh, that came out a while ago, and that kinda
Yeah, it's called Adversity for Sale. So I really like it. It's very transparent, and relatable in a lot of ways. And so I think
Mhm.
it's just a good book. So yep, that's one that I can recommend along with like Rick Ross' book. Like Rick Ross' book was like definitely both of them are great. And 50
Really?
cents. Like, I'm sorry, but they like
Really? I'm curious about that, especially in light of everything that's going on recently. I'm curious about all of them.
50 cents is hustle harder, hustle smarter, not harder. So like with you speaking about adjusting and changing things up, that could be a great book of just how to, yeah, be able to balance and create those yeses that fulfill the nos.
Yeah, yeah, interesting, okay. Yeah, we encourage all of you, like, to read books. I finally finished my book, which I may have said last month, The Outlive by Peter Attia.
Oh.
You see how thick I know. But you know what? Man, I loved this book, and often 10 pages a morning. Like, I would just, like, before I get out of bed, not every single morning either.
Yeah.
Like, some weeks I'm on it every day, some weeks I read a little more, some, like, a week or 2, I didn't even read it, but I finally finished it. This was a really, really
I'm
good.
gonna buy it from my collection. I think I got some space somewhere.
Yeah, I think you would really enjoy it. It can fit, like, right.
Right. I'm at a point where I'm just like buying books. Like I bought the whole Harry Potter collection the other day. I'm like,
Mm.
because I have tried to tap into some other books that kind of just takes my imagination somewhere else.
Yeah,
So not being so heavy, like you said, like always on the self help or the
right,
autobiographies that could create some trauma or relive trauma,
right.
but also like tapping into something that gives you some joy and make you feel good or have some laughter within it.
And that's a good point. Like, we don't always wanna relive our traumas.
Hmm.
I I I have a confession to make, and I know many people might say something. I've never read any of the Harry Potter books, and I haven't seen any of the Harry Potter movies, and it's funny because I love Lord of the Rings and love it. And I love those kind of books, but I
So
like.
funny. So me neither. Hold on. I did this when I was a teenager, so of course,
Right.
but it was for me too. I was like, well, let me tap in, let me read the books, and then I can read the or watch the movies. But I haven't done either. And I am a Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh,
So I'm like, yep, that's me all day. Like
I
Lord of the
love.
Rings. I've watched it. Have you watched the spinoff? Listen.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Look, see April over there sharing her binge watching
I
story.
know. I'm about to go downstairs now. Rewatch. Wrap some gifts.
That was
Yeah,
so good, right?
yeah. I don't know why, like, all the boys have read Harry Potter. I love Percy Jackson. Love, yeah,
Dang.
see? Okay, maybe I'll have to, like, somebody in my family, maybe my
Like
nephew.
I like Maze Runners too. So I actually bought the Maze Runner books. And again, just tapping in, the movies are really good. So the books are definitely better.
Yeah, yeah, like, almost every single time, right?
So
See, we talk about this because every guest has shared, like, books that they read, podcasts that they've enjoyed, music or activities. We had Richard and we had Dr. Melissa on with Richard. Um, and I was so we talked about tech equity last month, everyone, and that was such a good, rich conversation. And Dr. Melissa Orta Martinez, she first of all, I found out even further about her. Was it kickboxing?
was it? It was
MMA?
yeah, yeah.
Like, she was gonna go to the Olympics for Mexico. Like, she kind of downplayed all of that. She's like, oh, by the way, Muay Thai. Thank you, Marissa. That's what it was. I was envisioning like it was like kickboxing and martial arts, Muay Thai. She was like, she's a badass
Yes, yeah.
and a scientist
With knowledge, right? Like
with knowledge. Man, that was when I tell you I was so inspired by that. Um, but that's what we want to share with ourselves, and that's what we want to hear and share with you all. Like, there's so many facets to being a human being, and being able to take care of yourselves, like to move your body in ways that feel good to you, to read, to listen to music, to be with family, like all of these things nurture who you are. And we want to just expose ourselves to all the different ways people do these things.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I think lately my common mechanisms have been to play music. Like I've found
Mhm.
myself, and it's not just any music. It's like, okay, maybe something, um got me thinking too hard, or maybe something kind of ticked me off a little bit, right? Like I just had to take a moment. Um I play like right now, like I throw on some holiday music, right? Like
Mhm.
or um little plug, but I definitely like Andre 3000's like new.
Me too.
Yeah, like that whole, I will play that and just be in the calmest mood ever. It literally creates it and gets me back to my calm.
I'm
So
glad you shared that. I'm gonna drop that in too, because I saw so if you all don't know, Andre 3000 Outcast released an album, and it's wind based. Is it all flutes? It's like I think different wind instruments.
yeah, but it's majority, like I think it was the concept was the flute. And
Yeah.
we went
Oh
into
my God. So
it's
soothing.
but everybody thought it was gonna be a rap album.
He was like, what am I gonna rap about? He's like, I already rapped about everything. And like that's the mood that I felt like I'm in. And I was like, I could teach a whole meditation class, a whole yoga class. I could just listen to it in my house. Like,
I will put it on every speaker and just let it. And a lot of times I forgot that it's playing because it starts to go in and out, and like all of a sudden you hear some bass behind it. Like
right.
who that knocking on the door? Now, like dang, that's still playing. But I've definitely just found, music sometimes quiet, sometimes getting out and driving, but really just finding things that give you a second to take. A moment. If things are getting rough, maybe just life is life. So you got to just be able to take a moment, 10 seconds, reflect, and you might be able to let it go. You might need 30 seconds. Who knows? I don't know how big your steam is, but
Right. Right.
right. So just wanted to share that as just people going again. I mean, going into the new year's, and so give yourself grace, give yourself the ability to be grateful. If you need to grieve, create space for that. Like all of that, you deserve it to go into the new year releasing yourself from anything that's holding you down, so that you can be the beautiful, amazing person that you want to be going into 2024,
Thank
right?
you. Thank you. And that's the mindset. And if you don't think you're the most beautiful, amazing person, visit that. Like, why do you, again, be compassionate to yourself? Give yourself grace. There are things about yourself that we hope you like about yourself, and let's find those things in each
Absolutely.
other, And so until Wesley's journal is out and published, like just write it down, you know, use that phone
Absolutely.
use that phone and put it in your phone or
Put it in your notes, create a whole affirmation note, and just write, or gratitude note, and just share every day, and set an alarm on your phone so that you can create a habit, because you're not going to remember. You're not.
and
Just say it like, so
it helps when somebody reminds you.
it does.
I like that. I like
Accountability partner, and it's all in the same tool
that.
that you use every day.
Yeah. And that's the point, like use it for good.
Yeah.
So what do you have planned for disabled but not really?
Um, you know, now that I'm back in Kansas City, yes, I'm back in Kansas City, people. I know we've probably shared it a few times, but I am definitely back. I'm bittersweet, LA, but I can see myself retiring and just being an old man in my LA in LA. But right now, philanthropy just got me in a chokehold, and I love to serve. And so this year and a half of just kind of being back and forth allowed me to understand like there are things that I need to be more intentional about with the org. So we're kind of focused on like and some mild rebranding, but been able to take our programs to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we focus on wellness, but how do we enhance the quality of life of the individual we serve outside of just feeling well,
Mm,
especially with all the barriers and discrimination that still exists for people with disability. You can create a free mindset, but then when society has its limitations and barriers, it can put
right.
someone back. And so for us, how do we now create opportunity outside of you feeling healthy and well? And so that's my intention, because I look at my life, right? Like I still focus on wellness, but now I'm looking at success and opportunity. And that's the same seeds that we want to plant within disabled, but not really. So
Right.
again, just amplifying what we're doing. We lack that in a sense, and some of it is me, but
Yeah.
taking accountability for what we haven't done and being able to go into the new year just making those changes so that we can one have the visibility but also the organic and empathetic support.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like people that truly sees this as something that is going to serve them later on in life. Like that's how we get to put it. So
Yeah.
really just that's it. Like I'm excited for the next steps because I think I've committed a lot of time recently just focused on that, team building, being a better leader,
Yeah.
and myself, taking accountability for what I haven't done and what I should be doing. And how do my team follow up with that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like
That's
so
awesome.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I am too. I am too. I'm looking forward. In my mind, I'm thinking, because Open Up spent a year, probably 2 years, working on strategy and realignment, and we're hopeful to get some support so we can continue to expand Sunday Safe Spaces. So we're like more engaged in community, and I'm looking forward. I've been threatening to come out there. So this year, I want to come out there and see you and see disabled but not really, and I want to eat some Kansas City barbecue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yes.
We can
Yes.
we can definitely try to, I mean, uh, we got a lot of exciting stuff happening right now too. So we just have to pick and choose like when's a great time.
Yeah.
Y'all have the World Cup coming out there
Do
because
we?
we do.
Oh, look at. He was like, and you do.
And I mean, and we can still be expecting the Super Bowl win this year. I
Oh,
mean, we
well,
done
there
had
you
some
go.
rocky edges, a couple games, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. So
There we go. You know
just,
what? I'm not hating on you, but
and if the Royals just don't got World Series, I don't know. But I mean, it'd be a good thing too. April, Kansas City is opening. I want to say the very first women's soccer stadium.
oh, really?
And so it's almost completed. It's the KC Current. So maybe it can even be
We
where that
can
we
go.
we can go. I mean, because it's pretty legit. I really like, I mean, one is for women, shout out to y'all. Um, but it's also just a great, like, yeah, it's a great appeal within like the city. It's like on the riverfront. It's really nice. So
Beautiful. That's the stadiums. That's one thing I appreciate about Pittsburgh. Like the stadiums on the river, it's like beautiful.
I will always forever remember going through the tunnel.
Yes, and you just come through.
Like my camera will be ready next time because I'm telling you, the footage I got was not what people need to see. Like
That's something about Pittsburgh. I will give it that, even though I'm a Los Angelenos, like coming through the tunnel every time, going over the bridges and
the tunnels is like taking you into a whole. That's a fairy tale. That's like that's a movie. That's where you go in and
it's
you're like,
just
I'm
those
in a
little
whole
things.
nother world. This is amazing. Like
Yes, it's those little things.
so
Okay, we have some dates. Like we need to come to Kansas City. We are working on things like in Pittsburgh as well. And then we always end up in LA some kind of way because family,
absolutely.
friends, work, life.
I was
So
gonna do a concert. We're gonna have to do something like,
that would be fun.
I don't know, but
That
I'm
would
down
be
for
fun.
it.
When we came last time, I took two of
Oh,
my
the
boys.
boys were
They
going,
went to the Drake concert. They had a ball.
I bet they did.
They had we had good seats. It was like that was an experience. Okay, I'm gonna start looking for some dates for different concerts and stuff.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, as we wrap up this call, we just appreciate everybody for taking the time and our gratitude for you, especially since we want to talk to you till next year. Um, but we do have a lot in store. If you have any thoughts, ideas, how you would love for this to go, please drop it, share it in the DMs over at Open Up. We're always trying to listen. We do have a newsletter that you can sign up
Yes,
for.
there'll be one coming up after this. So
So be able to tap into that as well. And yeah, just we are excited and we're not stopping. So we're just going to continue to grow, continue to listen and figure out how to. And if there's anybody that you would love to see on these conversations,
please let us
please.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Even if it's yourself, if you got some value that you think you can pour into others, we're very open to listening and yeah. So
Yeah, and it's for us, right? This is like by the people for the people.
it's
So
FUBU.
it's
Something like that, you know what I mean? For us, by us, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's great. All right. Well, with that, happy holidays, everyone, and everyone, happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely.